the shadow is a mechanism that we imported straight from the One Ring, and that was essential for the setting, because we have the feeling of we want to give the feeling of fallible heroes. Is that a word? Fallible heroes?
Sadly, yes.
Yeah,
Fallible.
absolutely.
Sorry.
Flawed
Flawed,
heroes.
yeah, valuable or flawed,
heroes,
either.
exactly. So we have plenty of examples of such heroes in the Lord of the Rings, of course. I mean, the mind goes immediately to Boromir, but even the future king Aragorn. Spoiler alert for even the future king had doubts, had flaws. He was uncertain, and he was very harsh with himself. So we needed something to describe all of that, and that's shadow points essentially. They do not actually measure how much your character falls into evil, because that's not what they are for. I mean, you can role play your character falling into evil by effect of shadow points, but they're actually something else. They are anguish, they are doubt, they are anything that makes you fearful of whatever is out there, of the greater evil, that eventually maybe will triumph if if you fail. So all of that needed to be put in the Lord of the Rings Roleplaying, as much as it's present in the One Ring. And it's something that goes in part of it as your advancement, the advancement of your character, because your character will become more powerful, will gain experience, but he will also become more and more flawed and scarred, mentally scarred, emotionally, existentially scarred by what he lives. So at some point, eventually, even if he's going to achieve great deeds and so on, he will need to retire from adventuring. The shadow, the burden will be too much, and we wanted for that to happen eventually, because we were also aiming at a bigger scale of adventures, as Francesco told at the start of this conversation. And the adventures, the campaign, you can span over many years. We have 75 years between the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings. So we want characters to evolve, to get old, to and also get weary, basically,
of the world.
of the harsh life of adventures. Elves especially get weary of the world and sail to the west. So that's a very, very important and very present theme in Lord of the Rings. So you have shadow points that
And they simulate that. One of the things that
simulate and so on.
One of the things that I'd like to point out, because it was a problem with some players in the beginning of the game in first edition, that shadow points are not some sort of chaotic corruption. They're not the type of corruption points you have in Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing, for example, where you sprout arms out of your back. And
Right,
stuff like
absolutely, yeah.
So players were very game masters, especially, they were scared to give away shadow points to players, because they felt like, oh, I'm ruining their characters, and they will stop to play the game because they don't like to be flawed. But actually, that's absolutely not the case. It's something that makes the game more interesting, because it adds layers of believability to the characters. Again, as Michele said, Aragorn almost despised the people of Bree because they called him Strider. They gave him names. They didn't know he was working for them, and that's a demonstration of his shadow weakness. The fact that by protecting somebody, you can patronize them eventually, because you feel they're so weak, I need to protect them. And that's something that doesn't make you evil. It simply makes you more fragile, and that's a part of the game, because something that Tolkien has been accused of being too black and white. everyone is either good or bad. That's absolutely not the case. It's a world, Middle Earth, where in the shadow and evil is incarnate. It's there is actually somebody who's evil itself, and it's Sauron, even if it's not like that anything. I mean, he was good before, but anyway.
But there's plenty of temptation there, like Galadriel and Gandalf
Temptation
and
is
all
the
of them.
word.
Yeah.
Temptation is the word. Everybody is prone to temptation and could fall to temptation. And falling into temptation is not the end. You can always do something and be back. Even Boromir recovered in the end by dying with the ultimate sacrifice, but but it was never evil.
Yeah.
That's the point.